Kalimera, Kalispera, wherever time you are watching. This is Mappa. I'm Stel. I'm joined by Thasso. Our guest right here is a Nea Salamis, legend of the UK football scene. Come on, Ban Demetriou. What's going on, brother?
Hi, Still. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Well,
I was going to say
but
long time no see, man, but come on, it's been a few days.
I saw you on Saturday. Yeah.
That's it.
No, it's good to see you still. How are you, Vassal? Okay.
I'm fine, thank you. Everything's great.
Lovely. Thank you.
Bomba. Well, bro, thank you for
Bomba.
coming on this pod. It's been a difficult, I'd say, journey trying to get you on here because I'm busy, you're busy. We didn't know how we were going to attack this, but we came up with a plan. Gentlemen plan.
And we're here.
That's it. Bro, before we talk about Salamina, I know you used to play in what used to be known as the KOPA League, which doesn't exist anymore. Now, I was speaking to the Abea Agrodiri head coach about this earlier, and he didn't know about it. But I had to explain to him that, there were various teams that were competing against each other. It was a Cypriot league with a few Turkish clubs. I think Komikebir, Turkish club, if I'm not mistaken. I think I might be wrong. Northern Cyprus,
Sure.
maybe.
They had I think they were Greek Cypriot, but they had a special thing going on there where you could only play for them if you were from that village.
Apparently. Oh, that I didn't know. Okay, correct. Sorry, I stand corrected. So, just for the
benefit, and they're still going. They're still playing in the Barnet League, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there you go. So I stand corrected. There you go. I didn't do my research clearly, but can you tell us a bit about this league? Because I remember going to football games with you and Jan. And you guys always used to talk about your games and what's that, and proper assessments, like tactical stuff. I'm thinking, what's going on here?
I know Salamina started in 1974, and I think the league was put together not long after that. And it was basically a league put together where so many people, obviously after the troubles in Cyprus, the war in Cyprus, so many immigrants came over, and obviously being a football country, they love their football over there. And they created so many teams and created their own league, and it just took off. The whole Greek Cypriot community would follow it. They'd have their teams. They'd get good crowds, and it would actually be a good level for Sunday football, especially I'd say in the early days. Maybe not so towards the end, but for Sunday football, it was one of the best amateur leagues in the country. And it had that reputation. It's not just me saying it. It really, really was good. And and Salamina, if I could speak for Salamina, they were always one of the biggest clubs there. They eventually. Well, I don't want to talk about the story of Salamina, but basically that league was really, really strong, and it was really, really good. But unfortunately, in the last few years, I wasn't involved in the last few years at all. But from what I was hearing, it was dying out. It lost its popularity, and it just couldn't be sustained anymore, which is a shame because it was. I think not long ago, it may have celebrated its 40th anniversary. I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
So did it disband because of finances or politics? Because I know a lot of my fears was going on. Let's get it right. I ain't gonna sit on the fence with this one.
Yeah, I personally don't know really too much, but a lot of teams were it probably was finances. A lot of teams were folding. A lot of the mainstay stay there. The teams which were there from the beginning, and such as the Salaminas, the Ammonias, Anostosi, Kailen, they were another big team. So all those teams which were there from the beginning and always, were the real traditional teams in the league. They started to fold, and then the league started losing its strength, I guess. And they had a 3 foreigner rule where you had to be Cypriot to not to play. Otherwise, you'd have to qualify as a foreigner, and only 3 players could play at one time. I personally think that might have made it really, really difficult to sustain the league with that rule. I think because that way you were having so many Cypriots who were, the community expanded, didn't it? So they would have friends who weren't necessarily Cypriot. They would play for other teams rather than playing in the Cypriot League and this kind of thing. So it lost its, I think it lost its magic, really.
I think that 3 foreigner rule it's a funny one compared to what the actual league in Cyprus is doing at the moment, where it's like you need to have 2 Cypriots in your first 11, please. Everybody else can be from wherever, but at least have 2, and everybody keeps getting fined for that as well because they're not doing it.
9 Martians and 2 Cypriots, yeah.
How do they get away with that? If you start the match with 3 Cypriots, it's obvious. For example.
Yeah, well, I mean, no. So they do that. So, but a lot of the clubs aren't doing that. So, Abuel, Aris, Bafo, and AEK and Garmiodisa were constantly getting fined because they didn't have any Gibreus in the team.
Oh, right.
But constantly, every week.
Because they didn't have any. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is the exact opposite of what they were saying in the KOPA.
Yeah. See, in the early days, I could understand that rule because in the early days they wanted to keep it as a community thing. There was, and the passion was there. The community was more tight altogether and everything like that. And they were all immigrants, most of them were. So the passion was there. But as time goes by, generations change. I think they needed, that's just my personal opinion, I think they needed to change that rule because you could see that it wasn't going to last without that rule. Some of the best Cypriot footballers, for example, were no longer playing in the KOPA League. Mm-hmm. So they were losing them. And it just basically just died out.
You mentioned some of the best players there, right? And people that are watching ain't going to know these people's names, but I want you to go back and think of the best players that you saw in that league. Give them their flowers, man. We want to give them a mention on this pod. Come on, no one else talks about the KOPA League on podcasts. Let's go.
With me?
Yeah, come on. Right. Best players you've seen. Names. You can't say Les Ferdinand. You don't count. Les Ferdinand.
No. They had a few pros play. Andy Clark played in there as well. There was 1 or 2 others as well.
I'm doing some Googling while you do that.
And the best players.
Tasso didn't know Les Ferdinand played in the KOPA League.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Played for Aachen. Yeah.
Come on, Sir Les.
Oh, okay. Well, my opinion is obviously from what I've seen. There was one of the most. Whether he was one of the best, I don't know, but he was definitely one of the most known. Was Nick Shagali. He was hot.
Okay, that's one name. I've heard of him. I haven't seen him. I've heard of him. He was hard as nails. He used to put it about a bit. Was Alex Parsons playing in that league?
Yeah, he did.
Alex Baneri, come on.
Oh, okay. There were some great players. There was Jules Costa, one of my favourites. Jules Costa. He actually was he was a pro, I think, at Blackpool.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. He's one of my favourites. Georgiou, who actually played out in Cyprus for AO as well, but he also he played for Fulham.
See, a lot of these guys actually went on to play for teams, though, bro. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but they always found themselves back in the KOPA League somehow. Yeah. But Georgiou actually, he played and then moved on, and he had a career. But there's quite a few. There's so many I can name off the top of my head. Tony Ponu's a good player. He played in the KOPA League for many years. So many. There's so many, but that's just a few names for you.
Lovely. All right, bro, let's get down to it. Salamina. Now, you told me that there's a link between Salamina UK and Salamina Cyprus. Can you give us a brief history of the club and how they ended up in the UK?
Yeah, well, the team in the UK was created in 1974 by supporters of the actual Salamina in Cyprus. So they were fans of the actual team in Cyprus, and over here they created the team Salamina. And they played in the KOPA League for years. They were one of the main clubs in the KOPA League. Huge following. I've always had a huge following over here. And they're very successful. They were very, very successful, winning loads of trophies in the KOPA League, championships, cups. Yeah, and they made a good reputation for themselves. So the connection with the team in Cyprus is just one club. The connection is there. So many teams of Salamina over the years have come from here and gone to Cyprus to tour and been welcomed and accommodated by the team over in Cyprus as well. And they've played them in friendlies amongst other teams as well. So there's always been that connection. There's a good few players who have played for both teams as well, for the one in Cyprus and the one in England. Certainly some players from in England who went on to Cyprus, who moved over to Cyprus to play for the Salamina team over there. So the connection, the relationship has always been strong. And it is considered to be one club.
Okay, so there is an official link between the two entities.
Yeah, there's a relationship. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So it's not
obviously financially they sustain themselves.
Yeah.
But the link is there. Yeah.
That's good, because I mean we've seen some other clubs like Salamina in England. So, like for instance, Omonia Youth, that don't really have that connection with Omonia, do they? Do they still?
No.
So it's good. It's good that there's a link between the two clubs.
Yeah, and I think that's what's. For example, Salamina, the one over here, they won the FA Sunday Cup in 2016 at Selhurst Park. Many supporters from Cyprus travelled over to support the team on that day. Yeah, that's the link between the two teams.
Well, that's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
That's
fantastic.
That's wild. See, we don't hear about these things because there isn't any coverage.
This is the thing, I think, with Cypriot football, especially over here. The communication, I don't think, is there. The
exposure.
To celebrate your achievements as such, or what's going on, keep people abreast, or just to keep the hype up, as to say. Because something. There's something. I'm not just saying it because I'm part of the club, but there was something really good going on there, which would appeal to a lot of people if they were very much aware of what is happening. But to answer your question, the connection, the relationship between the team over here and the one in Cyprus is there, definitely strong.
I find it incredible and baffling at the same time because Thasso touched on Omonia Youth, and they're only associated with Omonia by name. That's it. There's nothing else there. There's a club there's a club called Limassol FC in London as well, I believe.
And that's come through Aris as well.
Yeah.
But this is what it always baffled me with Omonia. I have to be honest. They've got a very, very good youth setup, strong youth setup there. I'm surprised the Omonia in Cyprus, or there was an Omonia here at the time, the older team. Surprised they didn't want to link themselves with that. For me, it was a no-brainer. But anyway.
Yeah, it's a bizarre one, but you look at you look at the landscape of Cypriots in the UK, and there's hundreds of thousands of us, and we've got teams all over the place. And the thing is, it's not just clubs in London. We're talking about clubs outside of London. I know there's a club in Wales. I think there's one in Bristol, which I think they're linked to the communities in those regions and the universities as well. I think
there might be one in Birmingham as well, if I'm not mistaken.
No. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. So we're everywhere, quite literally everywhere. But there's no tie-in. There's no link. And again, this is another conversation that we've had on numerous occasions, and Thasso will attest to this. We keep saying, when it comes to the Cypriot national team, why don't they look at the UK or Australia or the United States? I mean, there's a team called Surrey Hellenic and Cypriot FC, which is based in Surrey in Buckinghamshire. I mean, come on, man! It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer.
I don't understand why they wouldn't be looking at players. Yeah. I mean, if go have a look. If some players are good enough, you could then take them over there.
Yeah. But, well, the thing is, with your Salamina, have you seen any players leave and go to, I don't know, like a League 2 team? Because I know you guys are in the Isthmian League, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Well, funny you should say that. We just had a player who's moved over to Fleetwood Town.
Okay, League 2, yeah?
Yeah.
League 2.
Melis Asamoah. His dad actually still plays for us I don't know if you know Derek Asamoah, the name. He's a Ghana international. Yeah, he's at Salamina. He's been with us for 2 or 3 years now.
He plays Salamina. Okay.
Lincoln player, ex-Lincoln City player. I remember him when I was a kid.
Yeah, Northampton as well, and I think it might have been Carlisle United. So and he's with us. He's been playing with us for about 3 seasons.
So his boys gone to Fleetwood Town, yeah.
They were playing together, which was lovely over last season.
Nice.
But his boys gone to Fleetwood. So there is that opportunity for footballers as well. It's like it can be a stepping stone as well. I mean, obviously, get yourself into the semi-pro football and then see what can happen from there.
So where does the first team play the home games?
Plays at Haringey Borough, Coles Lane.
Okay. So not the other side of New River. So you got New River one side. You go up the road towards White Hart Laneways, and it's there. Okay. Because they play a lot of KOPA League games. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Haringey Borough, they actually took they actually took the "we're the only club on White Hart Lane" thing now.
Yeah. Which they are. Technically speaking, they are.
Yeah.
But Salamina's ground sharing with them at the moment.
But it works out as well because the Haringey Borough owner is from Cyprus as well.
Yeah. They know each other. But at the same time, obviously, as a club, we'd like to attract more supporters, more fans. Doesn't have to be from the Cypriot community. It could be from whoever wants to follow the team in football. But obviously, ideally, we'd love the Cypriots to come together and support the team. It is the most successful Cypriot. Talk about the first team now, the men. The most successful Cypriot team in the UK. So it'd be great if people could come along and watch and support the team, and in a way we're kind of flying the flag, as to say. It's step 4. It's the Isthmian League. That's a good standard. And obviously, the ambition there is to grow even further and to progress.
Yeah. Well, when you say step 4, I mean, how many divisions is that away from League 2?
Oh, League 2.
Yeah.
It'll probably be about 4 divisions. I think they're 2 away from. It's 2 away from the National League.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So that's the one below. Okay. Yeah. That's the one below League 2. Yeah. Because you mentioned Haringey Borough, and they were quite famous when Loizu, the head coach, got his players to come off the pitch when one of their players was racially abused against Yeovil.
Yes.
In the cup a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this story, Tasso. Did you hear this story?
Yeah. It was one of the first things that I got proper wound up about on Twitter.
Yeah, 2019, man, 4 years ago. Bloody hell.
Yeah.
So
time flies. I know it doesn't feel that long ago, but yeah.
Tell me about it. So let's talk about Salamina again. And how many teams are there within that structure? Because you're head of you're coaching the youth team, right?
I'm head of youth. I'm head of youth.
Right.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I'll tell you a little story about how it all came together. Obviously, they moved into Saturday football, semi-pro football, and they wanted to put together a youth system, obviously, to sustain the club going forward, to produce players and what have you, and also it's exposure, isn't it, for the club? And I was one of the people asked to come together, and there was 3 of us who came together, and I'll never forget it. Our first training session was November 2019, and we had 7 kids. And they were all different ages. You couldn't make a team out of it. You couldn't even make a 5-a-side team out of it. And that was November 2019. Then obviously we had the pandemic after that and everything like that. Now, next season, the season coming, we should have 14 teams. It's incredible how quickly it's grown and just taken off as it has. The first full season, we only had 2 teams to enter. Now we've got 14 for this coming season. So it must be something, right?
Incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible. Yeah. But, I mean, how many so in terms of the number of clubs in general, you've got what? Does it start under 8s or lower?
Under 7s. Under 7s right up until under 18s. And we've got a under 18 team playing in the Floodlit League, the midweek league, which is EJA. Which is another thing we've got, which is another stepping stone towards the first team, because that's good level. And 2 of those players from last season our EJ18, the Saturday, the midweek team, Flood League. 2 players moved on from that, and now they're in the first team for next season.
So it's literally a conveyor belt of talent, really.
Yeah, and that's the plan. That is the plan. That's the plan. From my point of view, with regards to the youth, we want it to grow. It's good for the club, exposure. But the main thing is to develop, nurture, and grow players, and produce good players. Obviously, it's got to be in a beautiful, a lovely environment, friendly environment, which I think we've got there. But it's to produce players as well, and maybe not just for Salamina. If we have some kids who are really, really good, because we've got some scouts at the club as well who could recommend them going into other clubs. And if we've got some kids who are really good, by all means, go and play pro football. It's not just for Salamina what we're doing, but at the end of the day, it's a win-win. We're help, and it also reflects well on the club. We're producing players who go on to play for other football clubs, say professional clubs. It reflects well on what we're doing as well. We've had some kids at Spurs and Watford already.
Oh wow!
Yeah, okay. And it's good for us. It's good. Yeah. You know,
that's really good. So something's working clearly. Something
is working. Yeah.
I just think you guys need to obviously take it to that next level, whether it be bringing in extra finances. That was actually my next question in terms of the finances. How does the club remain sustainable? Because obviously you mentioned the Salamina links, but I don't think they fully bankroll the club. So I'm guessing advertising, sponsorships,
sponsorships, investors, that kind of thing. They've also got a clubhouse, which is a non-profit clubhouse, but obviously money made from that then is put into the football or into the club. Obviously spectators coming to watch because there's gate receipts. So obviously the more people who come, the better it is for the club because they make more money. But that's how they're sustaining it at the moment. But listen, the club's always welcome to for a rich benefactor, let's say.
Of course.
That's what they need. I mean, because the club would love to have its own stadium and have its own facilities and everything like that.
So what kind of attendance is the club getting?
It's hard to say on average, but for the FA Cup games, there was about 400 people who were coming to watch. 400 people.
That's more than people show up to watch Agrida or Doxa. So
Yeah, but that's not every week.
Very true.
They were for the FA Cup games. It's a lot less for the league games, but there's something there. It's just I think people need to know, or they may not be aware of what's actually going on or what's there for them. There's something nice for them to follow and watch and be part of the club. I mean, the club welcomes everyone. They just want people to come and follow it and enjoy what's going on.
Yeah. Well, one of the teams in that league, if I'm not mistaken, #United.
Yeah, they got promoted. I just looked it up.
Yeah.
We played them last season a couple of times, obviously.
Yeah.
Coming away.
So
yeah.
Look, I'm all for progression. I'm all for trying new things, and clearly this club was created in a certain way, and they had the financial muscle, which was far greater than everyone else in that league. So when you see their name on the fixture list at the beginning of the season, do you think, fucking hell, man, like they've got a wealth of riches here? Like, how can we compete with this? What's your thought process when you see their name on that fixture list?
Well, there's always that feeling of, the thing is, last season was the first season in the the Southern Midlands Spartan League, Premier League, because we won the league the year before. So obviously the confidence was there. It was a good team we had, and we have. So it would have been, obviously, we want to beat these lot. I don't think there would have been an inferiority complex, but it might have spurred us on to do well and beat them. But I think there's envy as well. Their finances and the way they're set up and everything they've got at their disposal. Obviously, there's envy there. That's something everyone would love. But I don't think the fear factor was there. I wouldn't say that. I mean, the games were close. I think the first one might have been a draw. The second one, they may have won just 2 or 3-1, I think. And that was when we were down to 10 men. So, yeah, so it wasn't a lot in it on the pitch, even though they went on to win it, actually. They went on to win the league. But, yeah, I think the spirit at Salamina is always, they don't fear anyone. They'll give it a good go against whoever they're playing. I think they embrace this kind of thing. This is what they want. This is what they wanted. So, yeah, and there's a great team spirit as well with the players. So they would have been, I know they would have been looking forward to such games.
Great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about your role, bro. Because head of academy, that's a big responsibility, and I'm assuming you've got pretty much everything to do with the setup in terms of recruitment of staff, recruitment of players, budgets as well. Now we know that London, North London especially, is a hotbed for talent. That being said, when you've got other clubs, there's so many clubs in North London, mate. Honestly, so many clubs. And then that's not even including your Arsenals, your Tottenhams, and then you got a few other clubs, you know, because I know obviously it's the catchment rule and everything. How many, what's it like in terms of the restrictions to bring in young kids and to even find at least one or two that you think they can really kick on?
You know, it kind of like was a snowball effect. In the beginning, I'll be honest with you, we just didn't want him to play football. Obviously, to create a club, to let it grow. But now, as it's got bigger and bigger, and obviously we're much more established, obviously, better players are coming now. Really, some really good kids are coming. And some are because they're coming over because they know there's a pathway. You wouldn't believe it, but even at that age, because obviously their parents know, they are coming over because they know there's a pathway to semi-pro football and a good level football. And they know the setup's there for them to even move on to other, you know, if they want to go on to other, like to play pro football or things like that. So so the attraction is there. Like it's unbelievable how it's just happened. The club name also helps among our community, that's for sure. But a lot of players are coming over, bringing their friends over, and that kind of thing. So it was difficult to start with. Of course, it was. Especially the younger teams, not so much. But if you wanted to start, say, at under 12s, it's difficult because most kids are already at clubs. But once it got going and once we started growing and making us, I suppose, a name for ourselves, people just contacted us all the time and they want to come. I mean, it surprised me. I'll be honest, it surprised me. And like I said to you, we went from nothing to 14 teams in 3.5 years, which is, I can't believe it. I really can't believe it. So yeah, really
How'd
pleased.
you stay on top of all of it though? How'd you stay on top of it? Because obviously you got the legal side as well, because you got DBS checks and all that.
Well, we've got a committee. So we've got a welfare officer who's been absolutely fantastic for us. His name's Kay. He's been brilliant. I have to say, he's kept on. He's spot on with all of that, with every single team. He's so meticulous. It's fantastic. And we've been accredited with the FA, by the way, because the club is basically, it's a recommended club now because everything is in order and everything is right, especially the safeguarding for children and this kind of thing and the environment. So it's a committee. There's a few of us. Each person's got their role and what they have to do. And that could be with someone will be dealing with sponsors. Someone else will be dealing with the pitches. Someone else will be dealing with the referees. The other one, we've got a secretary. We've got a chairman as well, Mario Skoros, who's there. So everyone's mucking in, everyone's doing stuff. But we've got a specific person with the welfare, like for the things you mentioned. We've got treasury as well. So it's not me doing everything. It sometimes feels like that, but it's not. But yeah, we've got a good team there. We could do with more people for sure, but it's a big responsibility to be part of committees, I guess, and time consuming. So, but yeah, we're managing.
So look, how many? Go on.
Sorry, you sure? You sure?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
No, I was just about to say that, you know, now that you mentioned that, you know, you could do with more people helping out. Hopefully, people that are watching can reach out and get in touch and offer their services somehow.
Yeah, by all means, we're willing to listen to everyone. We could do with always more extra pair of hands, as they say. So yeah, for sure. So as we're growing, it's obviously the committee needs to grow as well. I mean, we started just three of us, literally three of us, but it's impossible for it to have been like that now. I think we've got back.
Maybe you should get This Is Mappa on board. How about that on the committee?
Well,
that's your chairman, your vice chairman. Come on.
But, hold on. I don't know. I don't know how much I can do from Paris. You know.
Well, you can look for French youngsters, or you can get Carrefour to sponsor.
No, hold on. There's rules against that.
What? Well, get Carrefour to sponsor.
No, the first thing you said.
Oh, okay.
What
about Bernard's baguettes? Bernard's baguettes. Get them to sponsor.
No, I don't want my father-in-law getting involved. You're all right.
Sorry, I had to.
It's fine. It's fine. But yeah, you know, if you want anybody to do some spreadsheets or design some roads for you, I'm your guy. You know.
That could be you, actually. You should have said that.
Chuck some spreadsheets at me. I can give it a go.
Okay.
Speaking of stats and whatever.
Don't ask him to design your stadium, though.
Why not? Why not?
Sorry, Ray. It's an ongoing joke between me and Thasso because you need to go back to the podcast where we talk about the new stadium in Limassol and how Thasso hates how it's structured around the stadium.
If I'm designing it, I'm not going to have a problem with it, am I?
Continue. Sorry.
No. Before we got derailed, the stats we were going to go to the statistics because of spreadsheets and whatnot. So, what kind of percentage of the kids in the youth teams at the moment are made up by Ingleso-Gibreus, by English Cypriots?
Just say it.
Yeah, just say it. Now, you know what? It's very, very multicultural. The whole thing. As a guess, I'd say about 30%, maybe less than 30%.
Yeah.
No,
I mean it makes sense.
Most teams have one or two or three, or maybe three or four. Some other ones, but the majority no. It's just from a mixture of backgrounds, and that's what we love as well. That's what we want. We want everyone coming. Listen,
yeah, of course.
We want the Cypriots coming over to play for us for sure. If they had a choice, we want them to come to. You know, if they would rather them choose us. That's what predominantly we want. We want to be a community club for the Greek Cypriots, and eventually for the first team to have more Greek Cypriots representing the club in Saturday football would be fantastic. But at the same time, we're welcoming to everyone. We're a multicultural club in that way. The heritage is Greek Cypriot, but we welcome everyone from all backgrounds, and that's what makes it nice as well.
Yeah, I think. I mean, as well, location kind of helps with that. You're gonna have a lot of different cultures in there, and it helps. It helps the kids as well integrate. I think
it does, and not all, like I was touching on before when we were talking about the KOPA League. Not all the Greek Cypriot kids, their friends are not all Greek Cypriot anymore.
Yeah.
You know? It's not like before. Like you know, the community all stuck together a bit more than they probably do now. It's all spread. They're making friends with everyone, so you know they'll bring their friends along, not necessarily Greek Cypriot, and that's how it is. Our base is we've secured a base now to play all our games at Gosoak, which is good. So the whole youth system will be playing their own games there, which is nice. So again, that will be for the club, a nice community feel, a familiar feel for everyone there to get to know each other a bit more, to make it, you know, keep the spirit there. So
is it Goff School? Is it Goff School? The 4G pitches?
Not the 4G. I think that's the academy there, which we've got access to. But there's a grass pitches across, which is the school there
near the roundabout.
Yes.
On the roundabout. Yes, I know it. I know it. Yeah.
And that's going to be all Salamina on Sundays now.
Okay, and that's for the first team or the youth? Sorry.
No, for the youth system.
For the youth. Okay, nice. That's a good location, man.
Good
location,
and it's good to have everyone together, which is what we always wanted, like a base. So we managed to do that as well, which is good. Really pleased.
Because in that way you can appeal to the kids around the Cheshunt area.
Yeah, of course.
Bar as well.
Yeah, it's a good catchment area.
Yeah. And a lot of parents have got a bit of para, so para is so.
might end up with a benefactor nowadays. But no. But it's good. It's good for the club. Yeah, definitely. That was the plan, and that's what we've done. So
excellent.
It's worked out well.
Bomba. So, remind me how long you've been doing this job?
Started in November 2019.
2019. Okay.
Yeah.
So, in terms of how the structure has evolved since you've been there, how far do you think you guys have come? Are you at a level now where you can say, I'm satisfied? Or are you still saying there's still a lot more work to do, but we're getting to where we need to be?
It's progressed much more than any of us expected in such a short period of time. If you asked me maybe 3 years ago when we started, you're going to have this in 3 years, I would have said, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. That's the plan. This is what we wanted. But still some teams which are new to us. So the way I see it is, like I said, we've got 14 teams for next season. I want to get that going, and I want everything to settle down. And then I'll probably be satisfied after that, to be honest. The job has been done, really, in the 3 years from what we set out to do, which is incredible. I actually can't believe how quick that's happened. But we could always do more, because we'd love to create a girls' team as well. There is more to do. There is more to do. More things we can do. Like I said to you, we want to create a girls' team and maybe do a whole setup for the girls to play football as well, which would be lovely.
For sure. And I think, was it your under-13s won the league or something?
They did. Yeah, they did last season, which was brilliant. That's actually, I think that might be the first team we've had which has actually won the league. So yeah, brilliant. Really, really proud of them. Done fantastically well. Really good team spirit there as well. Really good team spirit, and it's worked. It's got their rewards.
And you're under 18s? And you're under 18s?
Well, let's see. The EGA
were they in the Youth Cup, the FA Youth Cup? They
were in the FA Youth Cup. They played Colchester United. So they went as far as Colchester United, which this is a funny story actually. They lost on the day, but Colchester used a couple of ineligible players, so they went through to the next round. But a couple of our players were actually scouted from Colchester, and I actually received the letters asking if they could actually go on trial with them, which obviously we accepted. So yeah, so that was good. So yeah, so they played the FA Youth Cup.
This goes back to what me and Thasso have been saying for God knows how long, in the sense that, Christ, we've got these academies in the UK.
We do.
Pierre told us he's got a lad that was at Omoni that's gone to West Ham.
Yeah.
You guys have got players going to Colchester. And if you look at, say, Leyton Orient with the Cypriots there.
Yeah.
And it just baffles me as to why there isn't a connection between the Cypriot League back home and the clubs out here.
I've never understood that either.
Tell me your thoughts on it, bro. Because we spoke about this the other day. But
I know years ago, players went from Salamis here to Cyprus. I know that for sure. But then you have to remember, over here, it wasn't a Saturday. It wasn't a professional league or semi-professional at the time. It was just KOPA League. So obviously, going over there, they were getting their contracts. They were making a career for themselves, and then maybe they'll come back. But now, does it? How can I put it? Is it worthwhile for these players to like you said, Pierre had a player who went on to West Ham. Would he go and play in Cyprus professionally if he's got an opportunity to play for West Ham? Even if he doesn't make it at West Ham, he could possibly play lower leagues here. But the one thing which has always interested me, which I never understood, was the national teams, the under-21s, and the national. Why are they not looking at the players?
Well, I mean, that's a very good question. So
that's what I don't understand.
They've the under-19s, for instance, have got a new head coach for the national team, and he announced like a training event, bringing some players that he's going to look out for internationals through the season. All of the under-19s, all of them, based in Cyprus, every single one of them. So there's players like Gabriel Ortelli, who we've had on the podcast, Delifer at Watford as well. We've got people in Omonia Youth, people at your club. We've got all kinds of people that could be looked at by the Cyprus FA that have been completely ignored. I mean, to the point where they've needed. So Gabriel Ortelli, when we interviewed him, said that one of the reasons he was going to Cyprus this summer, as well as the holiday, was for him to get the passport and then contact the Cyprus FA to say, I can play for Cyprus. And it's very frustrating to see, the FA not helping these players represent the country that they want to represent.
You would think that they'd know about these people. There'd be some kind of feedback coming to them. There's a boy playing for this club, or there. Have a look at him. It could be, Is it? Do that? Would they welcome it if there was players who they knew of? Would they welcome it, or are they deliberately being ignorant?
Well,
that's a very good question.
It was when we spoke to Alex. Alex, who's a goalkeeper at Mappa, he was at Omonia. He's only 23. And we said to him, like, is there some kind of, animosity towards the British Cypriots? And he goes, no. He goes, I'd be upset because he's a goalkeeper. Because I'd be upset if, someone from the UK gets called up to the national team because, in my place. But at the same time, that just gives me the motivation to work harder. So perhaps a lot of players don't have that motivation to work harder, and or maybe there's a lot of politics going on in the background. I can't put my finger on exactly what the issue is, bro. But let's put things into perspective. You look at the Cypriot under-21 national team, right? There are 3 or 4 players playing outside of Cyprus in that squad. One's at Atletico Madrid, one's at Fulham, one's at Hanover, and one is, I don't know, Slovakia. I don't know, somewhere. So everyone is with. Oh, and Tate Trusty. Sorry, 5. Tate Trusty's at Blackpool. Yeah, but the rest of them are all playing within Cyprus. Now you could say it's good for the league because the players are within, the island. They're all there. At the same time, you're thinking the quality of the Cypriot football, while it is improving, it's roughly League One level.
Yeah, this is my point. The thing is, they know there's a huge Greek Cypriot community here in England, and obviously this is a football mad country we live in, and obviously kids are playing football. Some kids are getting unbelievable coaching and this and that. So they should expect that there's going to be a lot of good Greek Cypriot footballers over here in England who have been coached well, who are at a good level, who will be at clubs. They surely should be looking out for this. I mean, I might be wrong, but isn't there a lot of players playing for Cyprus now who their ethnicity is not Greek Cypriot? Or
only 2, and it's only been recent.
Oh, okay.
Well, listen, I'd say it's not a recent thing for that to happen.
No, but I mean, it hasn't happened for a while, though.
Look at Ralphman, Gogic, Dosa Jr.
No, but you're talking about the early 90s.
Yeah, Dosa Jr. No, it was 2012.
2012. Yeah, but okay, well, what I'm saying is
Vincent Laban. There's a few players that have done that, but they've done. Magassa is another one, for instance.
No, but what I'm saying to you is like, and when Roberge got his citizenship a few months ago, right, it was the first time in a while. I'm not talking like a decade or whatever, but it was a long time in a while. And then all of a sudden, Joel has got his citizenship. Correa got his citizenship, and we're going back to that again. Do you get what I'm saying? But then this opens another can of worms, Tasso, because we keep talking about the national team and the call-ups that Ketspire keeps doing. So are we really surprised?
No. I mean, when we were speaking to the IAS general manager, when we were speaking to the IAS general manager as well, he said that the main reason for the Cyprus FA not doing anything is because they don't have enough eyes and ears in places. They don't have enough people to be able to do what we're saying they should be doing. Now, Why they don't hire more people, I don't know. But the main reason for this seems to be they just don't have the staff to be able to do it.
Okay.
Although what I will say though, and I'm going to flip it a little bit. Aside from me and you, Thasso, and maybe a handful of others in the UK, who else follows Cypriot football like we do?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? So I've spoken to friends that and ask them about, okay, give you an example, Ban Lilla, yeah?
Okay.
I've spoken to him about Cypriot football and he can't believe, the standard, how much it's improved from when it was back then. Because
of course.
We know what it's like. The Brits out here, we think, they all play on a Khorafi or all that kind of stuff. Yeah. It's not like that. When you see the clubs like Aris and Bafo, the money that they've got, the infrastructure that they have, clubs like Omonia challenging in Europe, Apoel now in Europe, various other clubs, Anorthosi, who have changed head coaches and they're going more Spanish in their approach to things, bringing in La Liga quality players. It's not the 80s and it's not the 90s it used to be. You know what I mean? So I think, to be fair, a lot of British Cypriots are very snobbish, They're very, there's a element of snobbery about them. It's like, we watch the Premier League, Liverpool, Arsenal, Tottenham, which is understandable. But then they don't look at the Cypriot League and they don't think, well, let's invest a little bit of time and effort. And granted, you could say no one's going to subscribe to Sida or CableNet because it's too expensive. But there's always YouTube where you can watch highlights, And when you see the quality of player out there, Ban, honestly, let's get it right. Let's get it right. Thasso, shall we go with the players that were pretty decent last season? We had Gogorian.
No. Right. Any excuse for you to be editing that Sadiq Dennis Bergkamp goal? So you're going to have to edit it in now.
Yeah. Listen, I'm going to edit that bit in. Put Sadiq's goal against Olympiacos, but there was other goals. Other goals. But I'm talking about the players.
Yeah.
Makeda was there for a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, he was there.
He was there.
Kevin Mirallas.
He didn't do too well. Kevin Mirallas was there.
Yeah.
This all this season.
We always had a history of players going over there, though. Even in the old days, like people like Alan Kennedy and.
No.
Rickard and Chris Bart-Williams.
Yeah,
Chris Bart-Williams. Yeah,
Chris Bart-Williams was up well. Craig Hignett was out there, but a lot of these players now, they're not going out there to end their careers. They're going out there for a few.
It is a career,
obviously for the and look at Ajax last season in Europe. Yeah. They did well. All right, they got hammered by West Ham, but on the run, we're talking about a club that was in the Champions League qualifiers. They went into the Europa League. They dropped out. They went to Conference League, and they had the whole season of European football. And you're talking about a team where some of these players, you're talking about internationals as well, man, and players that have played in La Liga, in Serie A. Yeah. So again, I think there's this element.
Sorry to cut you off. It is a bit. I think it is a bit of snobbery. It's not so much. I think people are aware that the standards have improved over there. Obviously, the coaching, the fitness, everything like that is a lot more professional over there. Well, it is professional. I think it's just the Premier League is just boom over here, so big that everyone's so sucked into that. And like you say, they're not investing that time in finding out what's going on in the, in Cyprus to have a look, to follow it and to let it. Because I know anyway. I'm aware that the football over there is a lot better than what it was. I mean, I remember when I played for Salamin, I went over there on tour, and we played Apoel, we played Salamin over there and Mizararipo, and you expected them to be better, to be honest. But we're much more aware now how much better it is over there, for sure. But it, like you say, still people got to invest their time and follow it.
No, of course. So I think maybe it's a fault of both parties in the sense that, the Cypriot FA don't really want to show much effort or spend much time looking at our product, but we don't want to look at their product. So maybe it's just this, well, we don't give a shit about you, or we don't give a shit about you. So that's just how it is. It's a weird kind of mentality. It really is. It really is.
It goes back to what I was saying earlier about the Cypriot teams over here. with regards to getting exposure. The Cypriot League itself over there, they're not really tapping into the people over here. The exposure's not there. There's, you know, people are not. It's like you say, it's not current. It's not there for you to pick out and see this and see that. It's not in your face, as to say, or to prompt you. And that's where they could probably do more work over there. Because I'm sure there'll be a market for it.
100%, 100%. And it's not.
But they need to sell it to us.
Yeah, and it's not just from a footballing perspective. It's also branding. It's also creating businesses as well, because let's get it right. You know, there are hundreds, thousands of us out here, and I'm sure we've got relatives or friends, or some people are lucky enough to have land or other things. You can marry it all up. You can interlink it in some way if you've got the brain to do it.
Of course.
I just think it's very, very strange how and listen, I'll just say it. Our community isn't as tight as what it should be, you know. And I'm going to say this: the Turkish community are strong, the Jewish community are strong, you know, but the Cypriot and the Greek Cypriot community, it's very fractious, and there isn't loyalty, and you know, it's just, I'm just saying it.
And you're seeing it with regards to what I'm saying, with regards to how many spectators we get every week as a club watching our games. We're like I said, we should be flying the flag for the country, you know, at that level of football. Come and watch us. Come and watch us. You might enjoy it. Come and support us, you know. It's not as tight as it should be. But you know what? Still, this is what you're doing here. This is fantastic. What you guys are doing. You're linking what's going on in Cyprus with the people over here, which is fantastic.
Bro, do you know what? This was never like some kind of crusade. It wasn't us trying to start a revolution or somewhat. I just think that I'm going to say it. I don't care who's listening. I look at the resources that we have in the UK. There are various Greek radio stations that aren't doing enough to help, that aren't doing enough to connect the community. There are various businesses that aren't really giving a shit about their people. And it's almost as if, you know, there's this selfish element and there isn't a care or any kind of camaraderie. It doesn't seem like it, you know. It's all well and good getting on a plane, going out there on holiday and then having a couple of weeks on a jolly and then coming back and whatever. But I just think that we could do better. We could do better. They could do better as well out there. Don't get me wrong, but we could do better as well.
We could do it as well. Yeah, of course we can.
You know, and I think that it's a difficult one, bro. It's a difficult one. But again, a lot of radio stations, or one radio station in particular, which I'm not going to mention, you know, it's been going around for 30, 40 odd years. And while they started off pretty well, you know, when money gets involved, greed happens, and they don't care about the core principles, and they lose it. And us, we're not here for the financial gain. Well, I sure as ain't. And Faso and I haven't seen a penny since doing this, but you know, we're having fun doing this, and we love talking about the Cypriot League, and we love talking to people such as yourself and Pieri and anyone else that wants to come on and talk about their clubs in Cyprus, because no one else is doing it. You know, that radio station I mentioned had one show every Sunday for half an hour. That's it.
On the football. Yeah.
Come on.
It's like you say, they lost the whole reason why they started that radio station in the first place. The whole purpose of it, they lost touch of what that was all about, isn't it? Eventually, but it's what I'm saying. They've got a good league over in Cyprus. For the size of the country it is, it's a very, very strong league. And like they should be loud in it. They should be celebrating that. Like you say, they should be doing a lot more than half an hour on a Sunday. That's poor.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Well, look, if the Broathlima is good enough for Mendieta to be on the board of directors at Buffalo, if it's good enough for Salgado to be at Buffalo, do you get what I'm saying? So if it's good enough for Jason Punchin to start his coaching career in Cyprus,
of course.
If it's good enough for Matt Derbyshire to leave Olympiacos to go to Cyprus, we can go on all day. Zelias, that played for Inter Milan and he went to Cyprus. We go on all day. But again, Emis Anglia, you know, it's very, again, it's unknown. It's uncharted territory. And this is what we're trying to do with This Is Mappa, and actually smash the stigma. And I think we're doing
you're
okay
doing a great
so
job.
far.
No, you're doing a great job, and I applaud with what you're doing. But it also shows that the success of what you're doing, there is a market for it. There is. It's just.
Shh, don't tell people.
Yeah, we want to be the only.
No, energy market. There's no market. There's no market. No one's interested. But there's no market. No, not market for what you're doing. I'm talking about there's a market of interest in their football. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. People are interested in what's going on in Cyprus if someone brings it to them.
Yeah.
And that's what you guys are doing. That's what I mean. Not market for what you're doing.
That's all right. It's fine. Bring on any challenges, man. We don't mind. We'll crush them.
No, but I'm saying people. It shows people can be interested in what's going on in Cyprus.
Of course, bro. Of course.
And you're doing your bit for that, which is brilliant.
Well, bro, is there anything else that you'd like to mention about your club? Anything else that you want to bring to people's attention, or maybe promote any websites or socials, anything like that?
Oh, yeah. You can follow me on follow our club on Instagram. Can you see me? Oh, God. I need to get Can I get all that to you later? I haven't got it all written down.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to put it all in the description.
Yeah.
Let me find
it. We've got websites. We've got Instagram.
I'm on Instagram, Dora. Don't worry, I will find it. Okay, let's have a look. Which one? There's quite a few Salaminas actually. Blimey, what's going on here?
There's
Salamina UK.
Salamina UK. That's the first team, and there should be a Salamina Youth as well.
It's on your website. Here we go.
There you go.
New Salamis FC UK. There you go.
Yeah. That's the first team, and we've got a youth one as well.
Bravo. Okay. New Salamis Youth. There you go. Yeah, so I'm going to put all of that in the description below.
Thank you.
There's also a Twitter account, and I'll put the website address as well. So if anyone wants to go in there, and because you guys are still bringing in players, aren't you?
Yeah, of course we are. We're interested. Whoever wants to contact us, whoever's interested in joining us and being part of what we're doing, everyone's welcome, and we're welcoming everyone to our club.
Bomba. Well, Ban, thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you so much, Still.
Absolute pleasure. And hopefully we can work on something together. Maybe
I'd love to.
You'll get the camera out and start videoing some matches and all that, man. And we can do that.
Okay. Yeah.
It's here, my guy. It's here.
Okay, we'll do that for sure. Thank you for inviting me on your show. Hello,
anytime, bro. Anytime.
Okay.
Bro.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you, Vass.
Stay there 2 seconds. I ain't done yet. You stay there 2 seconds. Everyone that's watching, give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram. At Facebook, This Is Mappa,
all that business.
Facebook, Discord, all that. Where's he gone? I told him to stay and he's gone.
He's gone.
He's gone. He don't listen. It's all right. I promise he does listen. Maybe he didn't hear me. It's okay. I love the guy, man. Yeah, he's an absolute diamond geezer, and the work that he's doing is absolutely phenomenal. And we are always here to help and offer support for any Greek Cypriot team. Any. We don't. We want to grow these clubs. We want to help, and if we can do it by promoting it through our podcast, through our Discord, through our social media, we shall continue to do so. Tasso, it's been a pleasure doing this with you again.
Always.
Your Twitter and your Insta are there at Flares Gaffes.
Yeah, there you go. Flares Gaffes. That's the one.
And we shall be back. Yeah, go on. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I was going to say Discord, Facebook, Instagram, Twitters, all the businesses. We're everywhere. You do TikToks as well, don't you?
Yes. Not so much as like I used to, but I think now the season is about to start. I think I'm going to get cracking on that for sure.
Yeah, so even we cater even for the young people.
Yeah,
just our old asses.
All right. And that's it, boys and girls. We shall see you soon. Adios.